So, what of air horns, surfing farmers, senior management, a cancelled guest, a budding entrepreneur, an excited guest, 99 Designs and Net Registry all got in common? This episode of Australia's #1 marketing show. That's what. So strap on in as we're about to cover some serious marketing gold.
Welcome to the Small Business Big Marketing Show, where successful small business owners share their secrets to take your marketing to the next level. Now here's your host, Tim Reid.
G'day folks, and welcome back to headquarters of Australia's #1 marketing show and small business forum. I am your host, Timbo Reid, but you, far much more importantly, are a motivated small business owner ready to crank out some great marketing that is going to grow that empire of yours. Alrighty, big show today. Could have been a lot bigger, I think. Haven't said that before. However, have had a guest cancel on me, not at the last minute, at the last second. More on that in a minute. I have got some very interesting listener feedback, which involves an air horn. I've got some wonderful guest feedback, bit of a review of the meetup that happened recently in Melbourne. Got lots of listener questions to get through. How to target senior management, question about business naming process, getting thumbnails on your YouTube video, so many more, so much more. Oh, and I've got a surfing farmer who pulls me up on my leaning in concept. Oh, gee. So much marketing gold, so little time. Okay, so let's get this little puppy out of the way up front. As you know, I have been promoting the fact that the Honourable Jeff Kennett would be appearing on my show. And for those who don't know who Jeff Kennett is, he was a previous Premier of the state of Victoria. So he was the head honcho, and he was a man who got stuff done, a lot of stuff done. Got a few people offside, but created a real sense of a state moving forward. So I've been on the road with Jeff for 5 weeks, speaking on a roadshow with him for an insurance company. He agreed to come on the show. Rang him yesterday to do the interview, like to actually do it, and just as we're about to go, he said, "I'm not going to do it." That's kind of like, wow. Now, his reason, it was hard to kind of put a finger on it. Suffice to say that his words were something to the effect that it's just not for him. He doesn't need this type of exposure on this type of show. He didn't realise the nature of the show was marketing. He said he should have obviously asked a few more questions before saying yes, etc., etc. I couldn't talk him out of it. That's life. His loss, our loss, we move on. What I did, I was going to go into so many places with Jeff because he is a great marketer. He's just not, formally a marketer. But one of the stories that I was going to get him to tell, and I'll tell it anyway, is about being personable, no matter what your status within the public arena is. Now, let me explain. The night before the first event of this roadshow that Jeff and I were on, the company got all the speakers together and put on a private dinner at the Spice Temple in Melbourne, a fancy restaurant. We had a private room, long table, fancy room, started at 6 o'clock. Jeff rolled up at about 6:15, and none of us, we didn't know each other. Of course, we knew of Jeff, but we'd never met him. It wasn't Jeff's event, by the way, but what he did was he went around to every single person at that table, shook their hand, looked them in the eye, and introduced himself and found out a little bit about us. He then went to his seat and proceeded to take out a piece of A4 paper with our names on it and jot down a little bit about each of us and where we were sitting. Now, I just thought that was and he didn't make a song and dance about it. And remember, this wasn't his event. He was just a guest. But I just thought that's just a wonderful way of connecting with people and being personable. And I don't think we do that enough. I'm hopeless with names. If I ever meet you and I see you a second time, I will absolutely remember your face. I've seen you somewhere before. But names, not so good. But Jeff, in his capacity as a public figure, as a politician of previous times, learnt to do that and learnt the power of remembering people's names. So, little story, maybe we can learn something there. It's all about communication. It's all about personal communication. Marketing is what you do when you can't go and see someone. That's my favourite definition of marketing. And I think in all our dealings, whether they be online, face-to-face, the more personable we can be, the better. What did I learn from Jeff cancelling on me at the last second? Well, I was going to record this show yesterday. Even though after he'd cancelled. But I was actually pretty despondent. I was a bit down. And I thought, you know what? I'll give it some room. I'll let the heat come out of it. And I'll do it this morning. And that's what I'm doing. My learnings, don't take things personally. People always have their reasons for knocking you back in business, personally. And often those reasons are to do with them, not you. Okay? There's stuff going on with them. And I think we forget that a lot. We too often, what did I do wrong? What was it about me that they didn't like? Why didn't they like my offer? Etc., etc. So don't take things personally. Pick yourself up real quick and find something to move on to that you're going to enjoy that'll divert your attention. I did start recording this show yesterday and I listened back and it was like, God, I sound like a little kid with his lip hanging, his bottom lip hanging down. Anyway, enough of that. We've got some great guests coming up. In fact, next week, I have got Troy and Zara, my speaking coaches, and we are going to talk about the fact there's not enough humour in business and how you can use humour to sell. So look out for that one. Let's get on with the rest of the show.
Small Business, Big Marketing with Tim Reid.
Now, as I mentioned last week, I have listeners in Kazakhstan. As of last week, I have a listener in Madagascar. Paul, my guest last week, Paul from Isogenics, I'm going to talk about that interview a little bit later on because there's been some amazing reactions to it. Paul has had emails as a result of that interview from a listener in Cyprus, a listener in San Bernardino in California, and a listener in London. Oh, I love the power of podcasting. As I said, if you listen to this show in some exotic place beyond Australia, then do let me know. Tim at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com. And now I have received this audio file. I won't say anything. I'll just play it.
Hey there, Timbo Reid. It's Steve O'Halloran here in London, Ontario, Canada. I just wanted to give you a shout out, let you know how much I enjoy small business, big marketing as I drive up and down the highway here in Canada. And I just wanted to let you know there's gold all over the highway.
All over the highway.
Look out, gold. Look out. Keep up the good work, Timbo Reid. We'll talk to you on the flip side.
Oh, Steve, that is super, mate. You put a smile on my dial when I got that email a couple of days ago. Thank you so much, buddy. What a great energy you've got. Trucking up and down the 401 somewhere in the great white north that is Canada. Steve, as a truck driver, mate, I would love to know what you are doing with the marketing gold that is dripping from the headquarters over here at the Small Business Big Marketing Show. But good on you, mate. Thank you for listening. Love your work and keep on trucking. Now, team, you know this show is made possible by two fantastic companies in 99 Designs and Net Registry. Let me explain 99 Designs because I know a lot of you are currently using them. I've got some forum members who are having great success. Justin ran a competition recently, $299 competition for a logo, got 115 design entries, and I saw the top four. I thought they were fantastic, and how inexpensive and simple is that? Logos done in 7 days. So what 99 Designs is, simply it's a competition website to get stuff designed. No matter what you want designed, they take you through the brief. They give you the questions that you need to answer in order to nail the brief. And, that's so important. Then you post your competition from $299, guaranteed, and designers from all over the world respond with their finished designs in low res. You shortlist them, you work back and forth with the ones that you like to make some changes, you choose the winning design, you award them the prize money, they give you the high-res files. That's it! 99designs.com/SBBM. That stands for Small Business Big Marketing. And if you use that link, you'll get a $99 upgrade to your listing for free, which will get you on average 185% more designers responding to your design brief. How cool is that? 99designs.com/SBBM. Love 99 Designs. I loved this feedback. You may remember a couple of episodes ago, I interviewed Joshua Nichols from Platinum Electricians. One of the most, how would I put it? I mean, a huge amount of response from listeners. You guys loved it, and I loved it too. He explained exactly how he creates raving fans in his business and his 21-step process for doing that. Those little 1%ers that make a huge difference to the customer experience. It went really well. And I emailed Josh earlier in the week and said, mate, you're getting lots of comments in the show notes. Would you mind responding? Which I'm doing for each guest these days. He said, no worries. And he came back to me, he said, hey, Timbo, I have been getting smashed with people wanting to connect, to get in contact, literally, ! I had no idea your show had the reach it does. Well done. I'll suss out the comments right now. Joshua. Mate, thank you, Joshua, but I love getting that feedback, and I'm getting it more and more from guests who kind of, see, they come on the show because people like to be interviewed. Well, everyone except Jeff Kennett. They come on the show and they've said yes, and we have some fun, and we have a fireside chat, and more I am realising that, they're realising that, wow, this little podcast has got some reach. Maybe I should find some more podcasts to be interviewed on. I reckon the good ones would be thinking. So well done, Josh. Glad you are getting lots of... I'm glad you're getting smashed, mate. And I hope you're getting lots of business from it. Whilst we're on the topic of past episodes, last week's episode with Paul McInerney of Isogenics, the millionaire network marketer who shared an unbelievable personal journey of highs and real lows. And now he's back on track. We had the network marketing discussion, and as of right now, a week and a bit into that episode going live, there's 31 comments in the show notes. Now, I'm just going to explain. I try to avoid tech talk, and I know I ask you guys to leave comments in the show notes, but all that is like commenting on a blog. So if you go to, for example, this is episode 207 over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com. You go to episode 7 under the podcast section, scroll down the bottom of the episode notes where I summarize each episode, and you'll have the opportunity to comment. And that's what people are doing. So we continue the conversation that starts on the podcast. So Paul, 31 comments. Some are mine, some are Paul's because he's responding to the listeners. But I just want to share with you the fors and against of network marketing because I knew it'd divide people, and it's probably the most divisive episode I've put up so far because people have very, very strong opinions. Amanda said I'll give you the fors and then I'll give you the againsts. Not all of them, just a summary, because I think it's an interesting kind of ongoing marketing discussion. Amanda says network marketing is an industry that doesn't discriminate against your looks, your gender, or your education, and it involves little outlay to start a business. So that's a big upside, because there is a lot of discrimination out there in business. Peter says to write off network marketing with trite comments is reminiscent of the early comments made of franchising. Yeah, early days of franchising, people screwed up their nose big time. McDonald's is doing okay from what I hear. He goes on to say, just because the paradigm doesn't suit your circumstances doesn't delegitimize the network marketing business. And I can't help but agree with you there, Pete. And the againsts. Brendan says, smoke and mirrors, this network marketing stuff. You don't find those companies listed on the stock exchange. They're driven by church evangelism type system. Jordan says he thinks the network marketing structure fails when those promoting the products hit their organic sales peak and their natural market dries up. They then push harder on friends and family. Lots of fors, lots of againsts. I am sitting with the fors. I am all for business. I'm all for people having the opportunity, as many people as possible, to start a business. And network marketing does give people that opportunity. I don't like when people push back, on family and friends and do it in an unnatural environment or in a way that isn't conducive to who they are. However, if they believe in their product, truly believe in it, if it is a good product or service, then share it. I think the best network marketing works when the product speaks for itself. Then the rest falls into place. But that was a great discussion. It continues on the show notes. And good old Paul, who was my guest, kindly shared his phone number. And I think this is an indication of the kind of grassroots marketer, roll up the sleeves marketer that Paul is. Paul from Isogenics. I'm going to give his phone number again because I respect how much he wants to help grow his business and help others grow theirs. Paul's number, 0449 782 668, and you can put a +61 in front of that and drop the 0 if you're overseas. That's the first time I've ever given out a phone number on the show, but I love Paul's roll up the sleeves marketing attitude.
Small Business Big Marketing with Tim Reid. smallbusinessbigmarketing.com.
Okay, so time for another listener question. This one is from Steve Chandler. Let's have a listen to what Steve's got to ask.
Hi Tim, my name's Steve Chandler. I manage a company called Lefter Corporation. We are a property development and advisory consultancy firm, and we've survived our first 5 years. I want to expand my business and get some more staff on board. I've developed a very specific niche and I want to leverage this. I'm doing all sorts of personal development stuff right now to improve my business capabilities in anticipation of the growth, but now I need a little help. I know that marketing to my existing clients is the most cost-effective way of marketing, but as the niche I've carved is not necessarily something that can be regularly utilised by one client, I need to grow my client base. My marketing push must be very directed to the building and property industry. What is the most cost-effective manner to reach senior management and these types of companies and get an audience? I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
Is it niche or is it niche? Tomato or tomato? Hey, thanks, Steve, for your question. I have just this little niggling feeling in the back of my mind that I've answered that question, but doesn't hurt to throw some more ideas at it. So cost-effective ways to reach senior management. Okay, I've got a few here, some off the top of my head, and it is also a discussion that is happening in the Small Business Big Marketing Forum at the moment, all about how to get past the Dobermans, and Monica asked that. So it's a similar question because all senior management have Dobermans. You know those ones, those executive assistants who stop you from getting to their bosses. How to get to senior management, Steve? LinkedIn. I would be quite active on LinkedIn and target those that you want to target, get connected with them. I'd also use the LinkedIn theory. So physically use LinkedIn, but also recognise that there's 6 degrees of separation between you and everyone in the world, often much less. So ask yourself the question, who do you know that knows who you want to know? Hey? Yeah, exactly. So put that in your pipe and smoke it and get out there and get connected. Maybe they're networking events that you need to go to. I often flick through my phone when I'm needing inspiration, looking at who's in my phone and figuring out whether they could help me get to someone. Another idea, start a podcast and request an interview. Yeah? Or write a book or a blog and request their opinion. Bigger ideas, not expensive ideas, but boy, oh boy, I can tell you what, if you ask for a meeting to discuss a product, you're going to have less likelihood of getting that meeting than you are if you ask someone for an interview or for an opinion for a piece of content that you're creating. Now, I'm going to flick through to the forum where a similar question was asked. Monica asked, her topic was getting through the guard dogs at reception. How do you do it? How do you get through the receptionist and make an appointment with the person you need for your sales pitch, which is often senior management? Some great ideas from forum members. Remember, you can join at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com. Click on the forum button. You'll be in there before you can say, how on earth do I get to senior management? Here's some further ideas. Call before they get in. So before the Dobermans get in, often the senior manager is there early. So call before the Doberman's there, and senior manager may pick up the phone. Speak to them like you're calling a friend. Yeah, I think be yourself in any marketing. Don't put on the marketing voice. Just be yourself. Have a conversation with them. I love this one. This is from Sean. Stand up and smile when making the call. Your posture and demeanour come through the phone. Absolutely. I do this show standing up. I remember interviewing Brad Smith from Brap. When his guys make sales calls, they put on a wig, a mullet wig, and Ray-Bans just to, put a bit of lightness in their voice and have a bit of fun that way. Sean also says if you're getting stuck, ask an open-ended question and stay away from yes or no ones. Yeah, that's always a good one. I gave Monica an additional 10 ideas for getting through to senior management. Take nothing personally, be yourself, find out about the Doberman that will give you insight into what they like and what they don't like. Listen to the Lindsay interview and the Jenny interview. I'll put these links in the show note. Lindsay was the psychologist that I spoke to a few episodes back, and he had great success in getting past the receptionist at doctor's surgeries and getting to the doctor. And Jenny was an episode many moons ago that was all about how to make an effective cold call. In fact, I think the title of the episode was How to Make Money from Cold Calling. Other ideas to get to senior management: make sure it's all about them, respect their time, let them know ahead of time of your intention to call them, maybe via a card, social media or email. Enjoy the challenge, make a game of it, and reward yourself when you do get through to one. Make sure you pat yourself on the back for those achievements. We don't do that enough. Old Mickey Cullen inside the forum, he had one of the bigger ideas to get through to senior management. 2 words: bring donuts. Mickey, you're a genius. Kiralee said, get a referral whenever possible. I'm calling X as her colleague Y suggested I give her a ring. Yeah, the old warm referral. So there you go, Steve. I hope there's some ideas there for you, mate. If you do have a question you'd like answered on the show, head over to send it to questions@smallbusinessbigmarketing.com, or get inside the forum at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com and click the forum button. So, speaking of the forum and getting together offline, we had a meetup last week in Melbourne. We had 4 members join me for the first hour. We had a bit of a chin wag. It was like a board meeting. We sat around the table and, punched the air and patted each other on the back. Then listeners started to roll up. We had 40 plus people attend the Small Business Big Marketing meetup in Melbourne, and I want to thank you, every one of you, for turning up. It was fantastic to see such a diverse range of business owners. You're all so motivated. No wonder I use the phrase motivated business owner, because that's what you guys are. Anyone who listens to this show, anyone who's in the forum, anyone who turns up to those meetups, good on you. Getting out of your comfort zone, meeting new people, strangers, often. We can't do that enough, team. We've got to do it. We've got to get out there and broaden our horizons. So 40 plus turned up. There was much beer drunk. It's quite a noisy venue. Got to find a better venue next time. And next time there'll be even more, I'm guessing. So I reckon we can start to up the ante there. But it was just wonderful to just meet all of you and get your views on the show, which episodes you loved, which ones you didn't love so much, And it was a bit like, I felt like it was a bit like my 21st. I know it wasn't about me, but, getting around and meeting everyone, and it was just wonderful. I was exhausted by the end, actually. And thank you, Tapo, for driving me home, mate. If you want to join the meetup, you want to know when the next meetup is, we'll keep listening to the show, but you can also go to meetup.com/small business big marketing, the entire word. And you can register your interest there. And yes, I will have some in other states in the coming months. Thanks again for all those who turned up. Listener question time. This one is from a doctor. Dr. Greg Story, Presidente of the Dale Carnegie Training Institute in Japan. Hey, thanks for listening, Greg. Love your work. I should call you Doc. Thanks for listening, Doc. He says, hey, Timbo. It's taken me a while, but after discovering your show, I have finally managed to listen to your entire Small Business Big Marketing podcast, Oeuvre. Now I had to look up that word, Oeuvre. That means body of work. Body of work. It's a big word, but he's listened to my entire body of work. Doc, too much time on your hands. He goes on to say, I enjoyed the latest interview and as recommended, took a look at her YouTube channel. Very impressive. He's referring to Melissa Maker from Clean My Space, one of my favourite interviews of recent times, I must say. I'll put a link in the show notes. Hey, got to go to those show notes, episode 207. He goes on to say, by the way, do you know how she got all that text onto the thumbnail on her YouTube, thereby branding her videos really well? When we upload to YouTube, it seems YouTube decides which 3 thumbnails you get to choose from, as far as I can see. Now, Dr. Greg, it's easy, mate. Yeah, YouTube will, by default, grab one of 3 thumbnails that it suggests, and they're generally always the bad ones when you kind of got your eyes closed or your tongue hanging out. Or you can upload your own image. How you do that is it's simple. You choose the image that you want to upload. The way you get that image, you can create it in PowerPoint if you kind of just want to save money and do it yourself. So you could create that in PowerPoint by uploading an image, then inserting a text box. Or you could go to our old sponsors in Swiftly if you want to do a one-off. That's a simple way of doing it. Or go to 99 Designs. If you've got a whole lot of videos that you want to create holding frames for, then go to 99designs.com/SBPM and they will sort you out and create a nice consistent look and feel and brand that will make your YouTube videos rock. And it is great to have a very strong holding slide, a good, an impressive holding slide, because it increases your click-through rate. It makes people want to click on it. So, Doc, love your work and thanks so much for your question.
Small Business Big Marketing with Tim Reid.
Now, as you know, this show is also made possible by the very good folk at Net Registry. I just want to share a little tool that I've been using of recent times to make sure I target the best keywords for a blog post or the show notes that I write each week. The keyword tool is called keywordtool.io. I know, weird. The letter I and the letter O. So that's keywordtool.io. And it's a great way to identify the keywords that you should be using on a web page or a blog post or on the show notes of your podcast. Using them in the copy, using them in the metadata. Now, metadata, it's a bit of a geeky term, but give the guys at Net Registry a call and they will make sure that your pages of your website are optimized with the right keywords and the right metadata. And, I saw some research recently which says a common similarity or common characteristics of high-performing web pages is that they have well-considered metadata. And that's all about having the right keywords. And Net Registry can help you with all this, team. They will help improve your rankings on the biggest search engine in the world, that is Google. So head over to netregistry.com.au. Tell them you want a bit of help with your metadata, with your search engine optimization, your SEO, and they will sort you out. It won't be as expensive as you think, and it's something that every one of you should do that has a website. So head over to netregistry.com.au. All right. Now, I got to love this. This is feedback from a surfing farmer. Hey, what about that? Not only is he a surfing farmer, he's a surfing farmer with a podcast. His name is Austin Martin. I think his parents... That's a car, isn't it? I was going to say... Oh, no, Aston Martin. Austin's also a car, but I think his parents should have had a greater sense of humour and called him Aston, because that would have been cool. Anyway, Austin, sorry, mate. Sorry for making fun of your name. It's not a funny name. It's just... It puts a smile on my dial. He is from... How's the name of his business? Squash Hollow Farm. Squash Hollow Farm. I want to live there. I want to live on Squash Hollow Farm. And the tagline... He's got a podcast. The tagline for his podcast is, "The road is rocky, make home steady." Oh, I love it. Love it. Anyway, it's a bit of a long email, but it's a good one. He pulls me up on a particular point I make. He says, "Hey, Timbo, I'm a long-time surfer from the States who thinks your understanding of lean in is wrong." And there's lots of question marks after that. In that he says, "Gasp, Timbo wrong?" But first, before we go into that, I want to say that your show has literally changed my life. Check this out, guys. I work for my father's business, an excavation business, which was excellent until the recession hit. Finding ourselves at an all-time low, I decided to learn about marketing and found your show. Since then, I have revamped my dad's marketing in a big way. New WordPress site, video testimonials, blog, which is tough as it is a septic tank business. Then gone on to help my father-in-law's business with his marketing, a welding shop. We are making how-to videos and fun safety vids, like this one. He gives me a link to one. It's pretty good. As well as my mother's business, a health coach. We're making 1-minute health tip videos like this. He gives me an example of that. Woo! Family of entrepreneurs, he says. Good, mate, I hope you're working on your business as well. Oh, he is. Here we go. But most fun, I've started a podcast to market my own farm business. The podcast is called Homesteady. I've checked it out. Its production qualities are really, really high. He says, "I've worked very hard on the podcast, especially the full-length episodes. I think you'd be proud, Timbo." I am, mate. If I am half responsible for what you've created there, Austin Martin, then I'm chuffed because it's excellent. He goes on to say, "So thanks for a great show. It's been very helpful, inspiring, and I'm a big fan." Now, there's always a but, isn't there? Always a but. He says, "The reason I'm writing is because I thought you were writing to pat me on the back, Austin. Gee. Is because you often use the phrase lean in, like in the last episode, and as a surfer, I think you have it wrong. In the latest episode, you said," it's like a school ground standoff, this one. "In the last episode, you said, if you lean in, you get traction. If you lean back, you will fall." Jeez, I'm being harsh. That is not exactly correct. He then goes on to give me a long explanation, and a very good explanation, which I won't read because it does go for a while, about what leaning in is. Austin, I take your point, mate. I agree with what you've got to say. I have subsequently done my research, and leaning in is a skateboarding term. You do lean in to a corner to get traction. You can lean back, but it can result in tears. So I'm crossing my fingers that there are no skateboarders listening who are now going to write me a school playground letter saying, "Tim, you're wrong. It's like this." But hey, I'm always open to ideas, and I love your work, Austin. I love the fact that you've taken the time to write this. Having said all that, I do love the idea of leaning into a corner, getting traction, and having the ride of your life. And that is what you got to do with your marketing. Hey, Austin Martin, thanks for your question. Love your podcast. Love your work. Thanks for being a part of the Small Business Big Marketing Tribe. Couple more questions, team. We've got one. This is question and feedback from Sarah Rogers. Sarah says, "Hi, I thought I better message you considering your show is my new addiction." How good is it? Well, thanks, Sarah. I like it. A few others like it. People in Madagascar like it. Sarah's boyfriend, got me into it on Saturday. And since then, I have listened to 14 different episodes. It's now Monday. Wow, your poor boyfriend. It's great because now all I want to do is get out and walk so I can listen to an episode. So thanks for increasing my exercise time. Added benefit. I've been in little Timbo Reid world. It's not that little. It's all I've been thinking about. But enough of that. I honestly love your stuff. She says, I'm a financial planner. I find the current financial planning system so dreadfully boring and completely understand why the average age of financial planners is 55 and no young blood is looking for financial advice. Great insight, Sarah. It's great to be able to stand back and look at your industry like that and look at your target audience, your best mates, as I call them, in the cold, hard light of day. I don't think enough business owners do that. She goes on to say, however, I aim to change all that. I am obsessed with property investing. I eat, sleep, breathe it. Therefore, I want to set up a financial planning and mortgage broking business that specialises in helping property investors discover wealth through property. Good on you. But it's going to be with a difference. I want to make finance exciting and young and accessible. I want to make an intangible service tangible and fun. I'm going to stop there. That's fantastic. What you are doing, Sarah, whether you know it or not, is being a disruptor. You are challenging the category. You're putting a stake in the ground and saying, hey, listen, everyone else in the industry, you're doing it in a boring, mundane way, and I'm going to do things differently. It's what Branson does. He goes in and finds industries that need shaking up, often at a cost level, but also at a branding level. And he creates these strong brands with these strong values and personality traits that stand above the crowd, that stick their head above the trench. So, Sarah, well done on challenging the category. Go for it. Don't lose that passion. Write it down somewhere and remind yourself daily on what you are setting out to do and why you are doing it. Let's get off my soapbox now. Everything you say resonates with me, Timbo, and the way I want to set my business up. Thanks for the inspirational, motivational magic. She's got a question here at the end. You might be able to help me with something, or the listeners might. A business name. I can't decide on one. Then when I do, it's taken. I'm just not very creative in that sense. What's the secret to coming up with one? I've covered it in past episodes, but I'm going to give you 3 things. Number 1, inside the Small Business Big Marketing Forum, in the classroom section, there is a tutorial on brand, defining the key pillars of your brand. You've got to do that work. Number 2, go to Net Registry and find I'll start again, but just before that. Before you go to Net Registry and register your domain name, once you've done your brand work, coming up with a name will be infinitely easier, because when you know what your brand stands for, it's amazing how quickly the name comes to you. And if you're a forum member, I'll help you name it. I love naming things, and so do other forum members. Head over to Net Registry, buy your domain, and then go to 99 Designs and get your logo done. Hey, it's that easy. Sarah, it's a great question. Love your passion. Best of luck with the new business and disrupting the financial planning industry.
Small Business Big Marketing with Tim Reid. smallbusinessbigmarketing.com.
Okay, last question before motivational quote of the week. Hi, Timbo. You don't know me, but you do know David Warren, who is a good friend of mine and recently my go-to mentor. David Warren, one of an amazing guest quite a few episodes ago. He owns all the tall ships on Sydney Harbour. Amazing story, highly inspirational guy. I've been speaking to him about breaking into the digital marketing world as well as starting my own business, something I've been considering for several months after completing my university degree. Oh, by the way, this is from Jani Anderson, or Jani Anderson. Don't know, but I'm going to go with Jani because I've got that kind of Scandinavian thing happening today. Well, I haven't really, but I have as of right now. Anyway, I've been listening to your podcast since December, and now I just want to drop you a quick note, say a huge thank you. Well, thank you, Yanni. Your podcasts and your passion for marketing have been invaluable to me, not only in providing some serious marketing GOLD, oh yeah, but also in discovering my passion for marketing and small business generally, and prompting me to take steps towards eventually starting my own marketing consultancy. Here's the question. If you were a budding entrepreneur with a huge interest in learning how to market a small business, what resources, apart from small business big marketing, obviously, she says, in your opinion, are the most valuable in working toward that goal? I've been doing a course on skill care run by Seth Godin. I've read all his books. I've read Gary Vaynerchuk's Jab, 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 Right Hook. I'm about to enroll in a 10-week digital marketing course with General Assembly. Recently did 2 weeks work experience for free at a digital marketing agency in Sydney and have been chatting to David Warren over the past few weeks, reading blogs and other things. Oh, Yanni. What have I missed, or who else should I be following and reading? Thanks, Tim, again for your inspiration and passion. Yanni, pull your ears close to the speaker if you haven't got earphones on. I am close to the microphone. Number 1 response to your question, hands-on experience. Get doing. Enough reading, enough listening, enough attending courses. I'm all for personal development, never stop learning, but get hands-on experience with your own product or service or someone else's, or go and do some charity work at a marketing level. Seriously, Yanni, you got to get out there and start practicing everything you're learning, because everything will change when you do that. Another tip, practice. This is a kind of wacky one, but you're in early days. Practice selling on eBay, Gumtree, or Craigslist. I know, wacky, but that'll help you get your copyright. Find inane objects that are sitting around the home that you think, oh, I couldn't sell that, and write funky copy for it. Have some fun with it. Practice getting the headline right, the images right. That's marketing, that's practice. I think it's a time to stop learning, Yanni, and start practicing. Alrighty, as we draw to a close, now it's time to say goodbye, nearly. Inspirational quote of the week. It comes from the late Steve Jobs. And Steve once said, innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. I like that. Innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. It's all about thinking differently, this marketing game. It's all about looking how others are doing it, picking out the good stuff, putting aside the bad stuff, and doing things better. Innovation, it's the spice of life. It keeps things interesting. You don't innovate for innovation's sake, but you innovate to build your business so it's stronger, it gets seen by more. It's the standout business in the category, in the industry in which you operate. There's a great interview I did many moons back with Phil McKenney, who came up with a process called Killer Innovations, and a great book called Beyond the Obvious. I'll put a link to that in the show notes, because it is a wonderful, wonderful way of teaching, and simple, teaching you how to think innovatively. And Phil was a mate of Steve Jobs. Their kids played basketball together. Hey, gotta love that. There you go. Inspirational quote of the week. Made it. Haven't done a listener question feedback show for quite some time. Never done so much talking. Normally I have a guest to interrupt me. Not today. Not today's episode. That guest said no. Oh, get over it, Timbo. Build a bridge, mate. Get over it. Now, here's the thing. I want to see you inside the Small Business Big Marketing Forum. If you are a motivated business owner, if I've got you thinking this last 40 or so minutes about the marketing of your business, then continue the conversation in between times. In between times when you're listening to this podcast or other podcasts or reading books. The forum is live. There are real motivated business owners just like you and I in there, and we're answering each other's questions all day, each day. We love it. And there's good training in there as well, and I do exclusive webinars as well. Hey, next week's guest, Troy and Zara, my speaking coaches, they're going to be talking about ways to influence prospective clients through good humour. Might even learn a couple more dad jokes just for you. Net Registry and 99designs.com/SBBM. They are the two sponsors. Please support them. They make this show possible. Without them, can't do it, hey? But with them, can do it every week. I reckon that's it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Head over to the show notes at episode 207 over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com. Give me your thoughts, your feedback, your questions, your abuse if you need to. Be nice about it. But I'm open to it all. Constructive feedback is where it's at. And I don't think we can improve unless we get feedback and we listen to what resonates and we make little changes in our business as a result. All right, team, love your work. May your marketing be the best marketing. Bye for now.
You've been listening to the Small Business Big Marketing Show with Tim Reid. Want more marketing goodness? Then visit smallbusinessbigmarketing.com.